Hello everyone. After my video where we discussed the Quranic fact that Prophet Muhammad, our prophet of peace and love, was actually poisoned to death. So some of you said that qutala or qatala does not mean that he was killed. I just want to share with you, I'm not going to go deep into this, but I'm going to share this with you, a couple of verses with you to make sure you understand that qatala, qataltum, taqtulun, it actually means to kill or being killed or killing, okay? So let's look at verse number 144 of chapter 3. Again, we went through this before. It says that Muhammad is not but a messenger, that before him many messengers have passed. Then it says, Afa in mata, if he died. Again, we discussed this several times. So mata here means if he died. Afa in mata. If he died, aw means or rather qutila. So if he died or if he was killed, it's quite obvious that this mata is talking about he died, and qutila means is talking about the possibility, the potential for Prophet Muhammad to be killed. So afa in mata aw qutila. And then some other people said that's impossible for Allah's Prophet to be killed. Again, I don't think some of you are reading the Quran, or at the very least you're not paying attention to the Quran. This is from the Quran. This is not my verse. This is a verse from the Quran, unless you can come up with a good reason proving that this verse is an insertion into the Quran. And this verse is not part of the Quran, which you cannot, because this verse is definitely from the Quran, right? So this verse is from the Quran, and this verse is about who? This verse is about Prophet Muhammad, right? The entire verse is about Prophet Muhammad. And the verse is telling us that there is two very likely options for Prophet Muhammad. One option is afa in mata, if he died. This is no conspiracy. This is purely from the Quran. And the second option for Prophet Muhammad, that if he was killed. Again, when someone gets killed, it's not necessarily a violent murder. Remember, at the time of the Prophet, poisoning those in the position of power was very common. So, and nobody would know the difference if this person had a disease or was sick or died of a sickness or died of a disease, or if that person was actually killed by a poison. Because remember, they didn't have labs, they didn't have diagnostics, they could not do a blood draw and just send it to the lab and say, okay, there was arsenic in their blood or such and such was in their blood. They didn't have, even nowadays it's very difficult to determine if someone has been poisoned or not. Even as of today, it's not really that easy. So what I'm trying to say is that it's the Quran. This verse is from the Quran. Open your Qurans, go to 3:144, and it is the Quran, it's Allah that tells us that it's very possible for Prophet Muhammad to be killed. And again, there is mata and there is qutala. I really want to give you a brotherly advice. Not following the hadith also means not creating our own hadith either. It means just sticking to the Quran. If you don't follow Bukhari or Sahih Bukhari or Sahih Muslim, and if you follow someone else's hadith, it's just the same. Only focus on the Quran. Again, you can see mata, died, qutala, killed. They're side by side here, and it's quite obvious in the context what the meaning of this is. Okay, now I want to share with you another verse. We all know that a rasul in the Arabic. So this is how you write the Rasul. What does it mean? It means a messenger. As opposed to the prophet, that means a Nabi. All prophets are given a new book. So when Allah sends a prophet like Prophet Muhammad, Allah sends with them a new book that is only and only given to that prophet. Of course, they could have several other books, but there is one new book that no other human beings had ever received. That, for example, in case of Moses, that was the Torah. In terms of Jesus, that was the gospel, the gospel. In terms of Prophet Muhammad, that was the Quran, right? I'm not going to read this part, and you can read it yourself, and you can read the translation yourself as well. I'm going to start reading from this part, from here. It says, but whenever, every time, Rasulun, a messenger, came to you, it's talking about the Israelites here, with what your souls did not desire, بِمَا لَا تَهْوَى أَنفُسُكُمْ, with what you did not want to hear, اسْتَكْبَرْتُمْ, it means basically you became arrogant, you denied it. And then this is the point I want to mention. It says فَفَرِيقًا كَذَّبْتُمْ. It means a group of them, a party of them, a group of them you denied. كَذَّبْتُمْ means you rejected. It's past tense. كَذَّبْتُمْ, you rejected. A group of them you rejected. كَذَّبْتُمْ. And then it says وَ and فَرِيقًا, a group of them تَقْتُلُونَ. Remember, what does taqtulun means? We went through it. It says you kill. So a group of them you rejected, and a group of them you kill. But what is important here is I want you to see this. These two are used side by side, but Allah, our Creator, is so detailed, so minute, so latif, paying attention to the details. It says group and a group of them kazabtum. This is past tense, right? وَفَرِيقًا تَقْتُلُونَ is not past, it's actually مضارع, present tense. It's an action that has not been completed yet. And a group of them you kill. So when it comes to كَذَّبْتُمْ, rejection, Allah is talking about the past. But as soon as it's talking about killing the messenger, Allah is talking تَقْتُلُونَ, uses the مضارع, the verb that it uses is مضارع. It means you kill. You still, you're not done with killing messengers. There's another one that you have to kill. This was obviously revealed when Prophet Muhammad was alive, and when you put this side by side by the other verses, you realize who he's talking about. He's talking Prophet Muhammad. But the other thing I want to share with you, look at the translation. They translate as you killed. Now, if this was past, how would that look? It would be فَرِيقًا كَذَّبْتُمْ وَفَرِيقًا قتلتم. So it would be فَرِيقًا كَذَّبْتُمْ وَفَرِيقًا قتلتم. It means that you rejected a group and you killed a group of those messengers. But that's not what it says. It says you rejected a group and you kill a group of messengers. You kill. It means that you're going to kill another one. And that's Prophet Muhammad. Again, you have to put these verses side by side with the other verses that Allah clarifies that it's actually a Nabi. So he's talking about Prophet Muhammad. I just want you to see that. I want you to have, if you truly follow the Quran, you should have no doubt that Prophet Muhammad was actually killed by poisoning. Again, poisoning Quran doesn't mention. But given the circumstances, given the fact that there is no report of him having been killed in a war or an attack, you can, and considering the fact that at about 300 years after the Prophet, early Muslims believed and knew that he had been poisoned to death, you can be 100% sure, according to the Quran, that Prophet Muhammad, our Prophet of peace and love, was poisoned to death by his contemporary Jews. Probably it was a conspiracy with some people probably around him also involved. Peace and blessings to all of you.